Shalom again. All praise to Yahweh. All right, this lesson is going to be called Ham, Shem, and their land. And the reason I want to do this lesson is because everybody seems to be under the impression that we have some inheritance in continental Africa. People seem to be under the influence that what we know now as Africa, whether Tanzania in the east or Ghana in the west, our people seem to be under the misunderstanding that that land has something to do with the heritage of the children of Israel. And that's a total and complete misguided doctrine and theory that was falsely given to us during and after slavery. If you follow what I'm doing right now on this map, this shows you the areas where our fathers dwelt. Right here. The areas where our fathers dwelt. Right here. Look on the map right there. When I say our fathers, I mean the people that are in the people that were brought into slavery, the people that were in slavery, the 12 tribes of Israel. I'm going to show you where they come from, what's their heritage, what's their inheritance, and kind of explain why they're in such a state of confusion. Okay. So I want to start off by reminding you that the next new moon is going to be sunset of January 5th until sunset of January 6th. And that the first day of Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, is April 18th at sunset to April 19th at sunset. And the last day of Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, is April 24th to April 25th. Okay. So as you can tell, I zoomed out. And the reason I zoomed out was to show you, what happened, in terms of where everybody spread out from. But let me zoom in again. Okay. Let me zoom in again. All right. And let me just get something together for you real quick. If I can pull this up. If I can pull this up. Let me have somebody pull up for me. Actually, let me see if I can pull it up over here on this. Let me look for Ararat. Okay. I was in the right area, so give me some credit for that. All right, so here's Ararat. All right. Armenia, Turkey area. Okay, let's write it around this area. Let's go ahead and pull it up again. Ararat. Okay, Mount Ararat. All right. I think it's all right. So this is Mount Ararat. Let me go into Genesis and show you something real quick. Join the Genesis. So I'm going to show you what's significant about Ararat. Okay. When we go into the book of Genesis, and we read verse Genesis chapter 8. This is verse 4. It says, and the ark rested in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, upon the mountains of Ararat. Upon the mountains of Ararat. So now we're dealing in a period that is post-deluge, meaning after the flood. And we're in this area right here of Ararat. Okay. Genesis chapter 9, verse 1. And Elohim blessed Noah and his sons, and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. So the Most High said, replenish the earth after the ark landed on Ararat. All right. So the ark landed on Ararat. All right. Now let's go to Genesis chapter 9 again. And we'll read verse 26. And he said, blessed be Yahweh Elohim of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Elohim will enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. So we have Canaan and we have Shem. But we don't really have nothing really being spoken of in terms of Noah, in terms of Ham. All right, now in verse 1 of chapter 10, it says, now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. So after the flood, the ark rested on Mount Ararat. And just to give you a let me give you a perspective. This is Mount Ararat right here. All right. This is Mount Ararat. You have Africa down here. África por acá. Asia over here. Asia por acá. And Europe. Europa por acá. Europa. En the central point, el punto central, tenemos aquí en Ararat. We have the central point here at Ararat. From here, all nations, Ham, Japheth, Shem, went out from here to all these areas. At this point, there is nobody here in Africa after the flood. Después de la inundación, no hay nadie aquí en la África. No hay nadie por acá en Arabia. No hay nadie por acá en Europa. There's nobody here in any of these places. Solamente en el con Noé y sus hijos. Only with Noah and his sons. Let's make the map big. El mapa grande otra vez. So here in East Turkey, el este de Turquía, aquí tenemos Turquía, Turkey, al este, to the east of Turkey. Aquí salieron los padres de toda la humanidad. Here is where the fathers of all humanity left. Okay. Now, from here, the first major kingdom we hear about, la reina primera de que habla la Santa Biblia, is Babylon. I don't want one of them Babylons. Let's try this Babylon. We don't want that Babylon. Let's try this Stargate. So here's Babylon. So from here, Turkey, West Turkey by Armenia, to here, Nimrod, which was the son of Ham, which is the father of the Now remember, at this point, there's no such thing as no Africans. There's only Hamites. Nobody's in Iraq and Egypt yet. Left from the ark right here and came down here. This area. Okay. Now what they need is they need a and here's Sumeria. Around Baghdad area. So Iraq, major settlement point for the people after the flood. Okay, right here. Bam. Now at this point you have Shem, Ham, and Japheth around this area. Okay. So now let's get down to business now. Haran. When Abraham's father Terah left from Ur of Chaldees, he settled here in Haran. And the town is still there today. It's still there today. All right. Right here. You can still see the name right there. Haran. Okay. Yeah, let me go ahead and let's view that in Google Maps for you. The reason I'm doing this for a reason too. So this is Haran. Let's go ahead and that's Haran right there. In Turkey. I'm sorry, yeah, in southern Turkey. Now we got Turkey, Haran, and then you have Mount Ararat right here. Mount Ararat right here. And then we have Baghdad, making like a little triangle shape. One, two, three. Little triangle shape. Okay. Now remember, at this point, there's no such people as Africans. There's only Genesis chapter 10, verse 1. Shem, Ham, Japheth. When you use Africa, you're using non-biblical language. All right, so let's go back over here. It opened up in Google's map, but it didn't show you all. So I gotta collapse this thing. Hide this map. Take these off. Collapse the map legend. Okay. So let's go back now. I'm gonna show what I just showed, but it didn't show up in the in this window. Sorry about that. The little triangle shape. Okay. So here we have Baghdad. Okay, make it one more smaller. Here we have the area of Turkey where we settled at after the ark, after the flood, Ararat. Let's bring that up again. Okay, let's bring that up again for you. Okay, Ararat right there. Once again, is Ararat. Across from this little lake area is Ararat. Okay, next, Nimrod went and set up Sumer and Akkad. Those areas, Babel. All right. I want it. Show all on map. I don't want all of that. What to do? So Sumer. Narrow this down. So you get the general idea around Baghdad. And now for our father, okay, for our father is going to be this area right here. Let's see if it'll pull it up for us. Let's go into Iran. So that's where our fathers were at. When I say our father, if you call yourself an Israelite, after the flood, this is where our fathers ended up settling at. If you call yourself Yashala, if you call yourself black, if you're a victim of the transatlantic slave trade, this is where your fathers came from. We were in Armenia, well, kind of Armenia, Eastern Turkey, right here. Ararat went here to Haran, and we went here to the Baghdad area. Now, this area was green. There was a lot of green going on right here. And, of course, you had different paths and roads that we made, all right, through the greenery. So there's no such thing as any Africans, Asians, or Europeans right now. You have Hamitic, Japhetic, and Shemitic. And we are Shemitic. Now we going down further. We come into our father, Abraham. So if we go into the book of Genesis, chapter 10, it says Ham, Cush, Mizraim, Phut, Canaan. Sons of Cush, Havilah, Seba, Sabta, Ramah. Sheba, Dedan. All right. People talk about the Queen of Sheba. All right. Sheba was not an Israelite. Queen of Sheba was not an Israelite. She was a Hamite. But now there were two Shebas. There was another Shemitic Sheba also. All right. So let's take all that into consideration. All right. So let's go into the map and show where these Hamites, where their land was, what land they were given. Okay. This land, you know, ultimately and generally speaking, we're going to show it. This land here, right around the coastal area, was occupied by Canaan, a son of Ham, Hamites. This area here was occupied by Mizraim, a son of Ham. This area here now was occupied by Cush. So Cush and Mizraim, their territories overlap. Their territories overlap. And then when you deal with Foot, Pawat, you're dealing east from Egypt east, from eastern Egypt into western Egypt, the coastal areas, and then going down here into Libya. That's where Foot was. So the whole expanse of the world was kind of limited to this area right here. Nobody was over here yet. Nobody was down here yet. 4 families of Ham, and they were all right around here. And you Israelites, you don't come from any of these families of Ham. Y los israelitas no vienen de ninguna familia de Ham. So this was given to the Hamites to dwell in for right now. They were given that land to dwell in for right now. Okay? So let's deal with that. Okay, now, when we go into the family, when we go into Genesis, again, chapter 10, verse 21. Now we got to zoom in. Genesis 10:21. Now it talks about unto Shem. Okay, stay with me now. It's not complicated what I'm saying. Genesis 10, verse 21. Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber. Now, why does it say all the children of Eber? Because the Eberites were the Hebrews, the Ibardium. And these were the most famous family. Number 1 of the family of Shem. And number 2, we knew that from Eber was going to come the Messiah. From Eber was going to come the promised seed that went from Noah. From Genesis, the woman's seed. That promise went down to Noah. From Noah to Shem. From Shem it went to Eber. And then from Eber we see it getting narrowed down even more and more. Let me take a break from Genesis chapter 10 real quick. And I want to jump into our Chronicles, which tells you the genealogies and the family names of our ancestors. See, the people in West Africa, a lot of Europeans, they can't do that. They didn't maintain their records like that, but the Israelites did. So when we go into the book of Genesis, And we can even start with Genesis Genesis chapter 1. Go on to Genesis chapter 1. Okay. Let me read it. It gets right to the point. Okay. It says, Shem, Arphaxad, Shelah, Eber. Now, in Eber's time, the earth was divided in the time of Peleg. Let me go back to Genesis chapter 10 and show you that. I'm sorry, not Genesis chapter. Yeah, Genesis chapter 10, verse 25. And unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. So there was a division that happened in the earth, the land, cultures, divisions, and people divided up now. They're divided up now. And this is what we see happening at the Tower of Babel. So the language that everybody was speaking before their tongues were confounded is now called Hebrew. And that name is based on the man Eber, because the people that come from Eber, in Hebrew, their name is Ibaryam. Ibaryam. The word Eber means to cross over or to cross. And they say, oh, Abraham crossed over the river. That's why he got that name. But that's a lie. People had already been crossing over every river before Abraham crossed over a river. So Abraham wasn't called a Hebrew because he crossed over a river. He was called a Hebrew because he was from the Hebrew people. All right. So now let's go back to Genesis. I'm sorry, let's stay in First Chronicles chapter 1. And I'm going to start from verse 24 again. Shem, Arphaxad, Shelah, Eber, Peleg, Reu, Serug, Nahor, Terah, Abram. The same is Abraham. So you with me? Hey, Shalom, Marakad. So Abraham's family are the people of who? Shem. Now, mind you, according to Genesis chapter 10, we just showed you that Shem had no inheritance down here. Shem had no inheritance in so-called Africa. He ain't got no dwelling place down here. We were strangers in the land of Africa. The land of Ham is what the Bible calls it. The Bible doesn't call it Africa. It's the land of Ham that the Bible calls it. Especially those areas that were still being occupied, that were given to the children of Ham. So if I turn and we go into Psalms chapter 105, verse 23, it says, Israel came into Egypt. See that? Israel, Egypt. Israel, Egypt. Israel came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned. Where did we come here? We came over by Ramesses, which is the new name. The old name was Avaris. Avaris, Avaris. We came into Avaris on the eastern banks of the Nile Delta. That's where the land of Goshen was at. Generally, all this little green area you see right there was called Goshen. All right, and Cairo is at the mouth of it right there. So the cataracts they have on the eastern parts, that's the area where Avarice was, which is called Goshen. So we came from Israel into Egypt. Now the Bible says, and Jacob sojourned. Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham. Psalms 104:23. So Jacob sojourned in that land. So at this point, we don't have any boundaries of territorial dwelling places as Shemitic people. So remember, Israel came from Shem. Israel did not come from Ham. Jacob came from Shem. Jacob did not come from Ham. Ham has no spiritual inheritance with the people of the Bible. Only Shem, which is us, the ones that fulfilled the prophecies put on the children of Israel of slavery and conquest and being raped and murdered, put in captivity from Deuteronomy chapter 28 because we broke the commandments of Yahweh. So now, we already showed just now in Genesis, in First Chronicles chapter 1, that Abraham came from Shem. Abraham did not come from Ham. So to call Abraham an African when there's no such thing as African, there's no people in Africa at this point in the world in Abraham's time. We only have Ham, Shem, and Japheth, and then we have different families that come out of those three families. And Abraham was from the family. Khan Marakat, hallelujah. Yeah, I'm up, man. And I'm in the spirit, man. Hallelujah. So Abraham was from the family of Shem. Now, let me go to the Bible. And this is where I really, really, really like to start to hit home. I don't want to stretch it out. I wish I had like a whole bunch of excellent resources to show you stuff and bam and pull it up. But I ain't had time to really do all of that. Let's go into Genesis chapter 11. And I'm going to get right to the point. Genesis chapter 11, verse 31. It says, and Terah took Abram his son, Genesis 11:31, and Lot, the son of Haran, his son's son, and Sarai, his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife. And they went forth with them from Ur of Chaldees to go to the land of Canaan. And they came unto Haran and dwelt there. They came unto Haran and dwelt there. Now, once again, this old place, man, is still there. Okay, it's still there. Type it in, Haran, still there. Everybody see that, right? It's still there. Southern, what's called Turkey now. What's called Turkey now. Right here. Haran, let me zoom in for you so you can see it pretty good. Well, it still has the name. And they have ruins there to this day. Haran, see that? This is where Abraham settled. He didn't settle in Africa, so-called Africa. All right? He didn't settle in Ethiopia. He didn't settle in Nigeria. He didn't settle in Tanzania. He didn't settle in Haiti. He settled in Haran. And that place is still there today. Outside of the Haran area, they have the ruins. Let me show you. Because I know you, the Israelites, they seek a sign. I'm gonna show you a sign. Okay. Let's go over here real quick. Take this. Gotta copy this. All right, we're back over here. Go here. Paste it. Bam. Turkey. Haran. Okay, same place. I ain't trying to do no 3-card Monty on you. This is the same place, Haran. Now check out Haran right here, man. All right, check out Haran. I'm gonna show you Haran. All right. These are the famous houses in Haran. This is in Turkey, eastern Turkey. All right, so we have a whole lot of photographs that we here. All right, so Haran. Another shot of the houses. Okay. Some of the architecture, blocks and stuff. All right, another view of the houses. Now these houses, in the summertime, they stay cool, and then when it's cold outside, they stay warm. It's made from natural blocks from the earth. All right. This is inside one of the houses going from point A to, point B. Now, of course, you can have it looking a little more polished, have your walls a little more smoother, but this is where Abraham was from, where Abraham went to. Right, and there's probably some type of castle there from the Ottoman Turks' time. The landscape. Some of these places act like they got laws against having a tree. No tall trees. Okay. So this is the place. Here's another shot of this is actually a little video that they have. See what this is about. 30-second video. So this is going into the area where Abraham, where Abraham would have been. This is where he settled at. This is the place. Now, like I said, that place now is in Turkey. Okay? It's in Turkey. This is how it looks. Okay. Now, this is the land that was given to Abraham. Part of the land that was given to him from the Euphrates River to the Nile. So this part of our inheritance right here. So when it starts here, it goes through Syria, Lebanon. Everybody there now is a displaced people that migrated there, people that were brought there. They're not original people from that land, most of them, let me say. Okay. So now once again though, Abraham was from this area. All right, and we had the Shemitic people living there. The biggest family that you had, well, another family that you had was the Shemites from Arphaxad. And everybody's in this area. Everybody's in this area. Okay. So now Abraham was here. Then from there, Abraham, all right. Abraham came to Shechem. Let me show you where Shechem is today. That's going to be like Nablus. Abraham went from Nablus. Okay. Which is in the west bank of our land of Israel. So Abraham went from here and settled down here. All right. Let me read it. Genesis chapter 12, verse 6. And Abraham passed through the land unto the place of Shechem, unto the plain of Moreh, and the Canaanite was then in the land. So the Canaanites, which are, remember, they come from Ham. Canaanites came from Ham. And remember, Ham was given territories. He occupied these areas right around here, here, and then going south. Ham occupied these areas. Now, Ham also occupied some of these areas, but we'll get into that at another point. So this is where Isaac was born. So mind you, during this whole time period, Abraham's not going to live. Jacob and Isaac aren't going to live in the land of Ham, what people call Africa. They're going there when times are rough, times are bad, in their own homeland that we call Israel. Okay? So now, when the Most High told Abraham to leave from this area in Turkey, he came here. And then when Isaac had to go get a wife, Isaac's wife came from here, man. Isaac's wife is from here. Isaac's wife is from here. Okay. Rebecca, Laban, Bethuel, they're all right around this area, right from here. So then Isaac has Esau and Jacob, and then Esau and Jacob get into it. Esau steals from Jacob, lies to his, Jacob steals from Esau, lies to his father to get the blessing, and Jacob leaves and goes back to his mother's land, Haran, right around this area. And while he's up there, he sees his first cousins, the daughters of his uncle, the daughters of his mother's brother. He sees Rachel, and he says she's beautiful, and he marries Rachel and he marries Leah. All of the 12 tribes, listen to what I'm about to say to you very carefully. All the 12 tribes of Israel, all of your forefathers, you Haitians, Mexicans, Sidi, Shidi, you Afro-Turkish, Afro-Abkhazian, most of you Afro-Greeks, so-called Afro-Greeks, you Kafirs in Sri Lanka, that's the name, not South Africa Kafir, Black American, Jamaican, Argentinian, Colombian, all right, Honduras, Cuban, Native American, all of your forefathers, your ancestors of your tribes came from right here. All 12 tribes of Israel were born right here, except for Benjamin. Benjamin was born on the way to Israel, on the way to Bethel, I believe, Shechem area. And then, of course, you had Ephraim and Manasseh, but we're going to get to them in a minute. So all the 12 tribes come from here, southern Turkey. And then from southern Turkey, Jacob went back to his land. He went back to his land. Now, from his land, the children of Israel took Joseph and they caused him to get sold into slavery. They were wicked and evil against him, jealous, and they caused him to go in slavery. So Joseph went down. Joseph has two sons here in the land of Ham, which are Ephraim and Manasseh. So Ephraim and Manasseh are born in the land of Ham, which is the land of their sojourning. All right. Genesis 12 and 9 and 10. Or Genesis 12 and 10. And there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down into Egypt, sojourned there, for the famine was grievous in the land. This was a highly productive and fertile area in the ancient times. And they were able to maintain when it was a famine, because the water from the Nile kept on flowing. Big, wide, powerful stream kept on flowing at places big and wide and powerful. But Abram went to the land of Egypt. Jacob went down there. Joseph was there, and Joseph became great in Egypt. Matazadium. No such thing as Egypt. It's a different word. See, the white people, what they did, what Esau, Adawam, what Adawam did was they changed the names of all of the places so you wouldn't know who's who or where's where. This isn't Israel, it's Yasharallah. This isn't Egypt, it's Matazadium. This isn't Syria, it's Adatazah Aram. This isn't Haran, it's Haran. But they couldn't change the names of these old places. What we really are going to look at, they put all the focus where? And this is where they tricked you Israelites. They made you put all the focus down here, thousands and thousands of miles away. Nigeria, Benin. You came into these places as exiles, scattered, and you've adopted these places now as if they're home. But the family of Shem does not come from here. The family of Shem came from around here. Come from around here. Okay? Around here, Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Israel, that area. That's where we come from. We became a nation in Egypt. So when the Most High Yahweh, when he said, I'm going to give you land to be your inheritance, he didn't say he's going to give us land in Sudan or Libya. He said, this is going to be your capital. All right. River of Egypt to the Euphrates. Now, some people say that goes like this. That goes like this. Some people say it goes like this, all the way around. But honestly, when the Most High is talking to Abraham, the Egyptian empire, or the empire of Matazadium, did not go all the way down here. I understand what people say, but I understand what the scripture says also. So that's a point of discussion. Whether the boundary is going to be from here, which is the Euphrates, over to here, which is the river of Egypt, and then coming up and ending here, the Euphrates comes all the way up here. Or whether it's going to be like, some people say it's going to be like all of this, all of the Nile, all of these areas coming up the Gulf and coming here. Which I could see that, because then we have direct accesses to, all these other areas. But that's another discussion. The point that we're talking about now is that this land west of the Nile was not given to us. It was given to the children of Ham. They got there before we did. And then when we were running, we ran there. Now, we are not continental Africans. Let me say that again. We are not continental African. Africa does not exist. That's a made-up word. It is not in the Hebrew. It is not in their ancient languages. That's why it's such a mystery. People say, Akibulan. What is that? That is a piece of land. That is not a blood that flows through anybody's vein. See, that's a made-up word. You have Ham, Shem, and Japhet. And then from those three names, you have people, and those people occupied land. That's what we see in the Bible. We don't see all these other things that people try to create and add on to the Bible. All right. And everything's going to be put back in order. That's what Isaiah 14 is about. That the Most High is going to put every nation back in a place. So now I want to make a couple of statements so we can all understand each other. We, children of Israel, Latinos, los indígenas, según la Biblia, no somos africanos. Somos hijos de Shem. So-called Hispanic Latino people and the people that came into the Western Hemisphere in slavery, you are not, according to the Bible, you are not African. You are Shemitic. Africa was given to the 4 sons of Ham. You don't come from any of the sons of Ham. You came into Congo, Gabon, Zimbabwe, Botswana. Okay? You came into Lesotho. You came into Malawi. Right here. Mozambique, Tanzania. You came into these places because you got kicked out of the land of Israel. And then you might have come into these places for business, to trade, to develop economic resources. But we didn't come into these places to sojourn as our permanent homeland. Closest place. Let me tell you something right now. And this is going to blow your mind. This is going to blow your mind right here. You ain't going to believe me. You got to look it up for yourself. Everywhere in these places right here, they'll let you come into the country for 90 days, 3 months. You got to pay money to stay there. The only place that I know of that's closest to where you come from, where they will let you, most of the countries. All right, I'm not going to get there yet. I'm gonna feed up to that point. Okay, I'm gonna get to that point. You was all geek waiting here too. I'm gonna let the cat out the bag, y'all. Out of all the places here, Iraq, Syria, Turkey, Egypt, Libya, and Chad, the people that have the most favorable policies for you to come back near your homeland, mind you, which is here, Africa, as you know it, so-called Black Americans, Jamaicans, and Haitians. Africa is not your homeland. Get that out of your brains, man. Africa is not your homeland. You are not a Hamite. Africa is a place where you came to as refuge to get shelter because you got kicked out of your own homeland. Because when you going into the when you're talking about the the ancient tribes, you know, in Africa. When you're talking about the Ile Ife, when you're talking about Oludumare and all these different Orishas, that has nothing to do with you. That was being developed by Hamites in Africa, in the land of Ham, when you were still in your ancient homeland. And being ignorant of who you are and where you came from, you immediately did the natural thing. You just looked across the water. Well, man, South Carolina, well, you know what? We came from Africa. Brazil, we came from Africa. Venezuela slaves, we came from Africa. But not knowing the fact that you migrated into Africa from someplace else. And that original point that you started from, if you came on slave ships, if you came as the first wave of the people that settled in America, the original indigenous people, your origin is here, not here, not in Africa, the land of Ham. Your origin in the land of Shem, right here, right there. None of these places right here, all right? None of these places right here are going to let you come into their country for free. None of them. No place in Africa. No place. No place. No place close to where you come from. Now, I take that back. I take that back. No place in Africa, but in Europe. What's it called? The Shenig agreement between like Spain, Portugal, UK, France, Belgium, everybody, mostly except for these countries right here, Hungary, Serbia, they're not really a part of it. Bulgaria, Romania, Greece, you can go to those countries without having to pay no money. But if you want to stay there, you got to pay money. You want to work there, you got to pay money. Now, this is going to blow your mind. And you got black people here also. You got Hebrews in this place also. What I'm about to tell you. All right, hold on to your seat. This is going to blow your mind. The only place, the closest place right now where you can go to that will let you in the country for free, that will let you stay there for free, that will let you work there for free, and you don't need a visa or nothing. You just show your passport, come on, and they let you in. The only place that will do that right now is right here. Georgia. Used to be South Georgia, Russia, over by the Caucasus Mountains. But what they don't tell you is that Hebrew people that came there as slaves, Israelite people that came there as slaves, and they live right here. This is called Abkhazia. This is Abkhazia. And they live in Abkhazia. Now, they kind of broke off. This was all part of the Soviet Union. Georgia, all of this was part of the Soviet Union. But they rock with America, Georgia, and then they wanted to rock with the Russians. So that's how that's going down right now. They want to rock with America, and they want to rock with Russia. So ain't nobody invading nobody anytime soon. All right. So now in Abkhazia, right here, and in Georgia, you have several families of so-called, quote unquote, Afro people. But these people are really what? These people are really Israelites, Shemites. So you might say, well, man, so Georgia, Russia right now will let you come there, work, get a job, set up a business, stay in the country for free. You don't got to pay nothing. You won't find any other country that's going to really let you do all of that. All right? Because you know why? Because everybody else is greedy. Belize, greedy. Mexico, greedy. Colombia, greedy. America, greedy, 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 greedy. Maybe Canada. But once again, we don't come from these places. Mexico is not our home. Brazil is not our home. Your home is this part of the world right here. This is the land of your fathers. From here, northeast Egypt, all the way up into Haran. That's your home. And the closest you can get to there with no problem whatsoever, get off the plane and bam, you there. South Georgia, Russia, where you have several families of Israelites, Shemite people, Yashalayim, that came there as captives, came on ships. Out, probably from Turkey, Istanbul, Greece, bam, right here, ships right here, became slaves. Okay? At least that's one account. There could be other accounts also, but we'll stick with that one for right now. We ain't gonna get too deep with it. Okay. So now let's go back into Africa. So the people that are in Africa now, most of them are Hamites. You didn't have a bunch of Shemites just running down there, because if you look at the history of Africa, all right, before 1000, they were still developing in Africa. 1000 AD. I mean, 1000 BC, Africa was developing. But 1000 AD, 1000 BC in Israel, that's around the time that, King David took the throne. So we was flourishing. Solomon's time took the throne about 670 BC. I'm sorry, about 970 BC. Solomon took the throne. 970 about, more or less. So when he took the throne, he sent people all throughout this area for trade. The ship of Solomon, all throughout this area for trade. But who is he trading with if there's people already there? The people that were there is who we were trading with. We did not move from Israel and go into West Africa, East Africa, North Africa, and displace the whole native population in these areas that were there in 1900 BC. Impossible. Now, when Egypt was falling under the Romans, and before that under the Greeks, what they did, they left, the Hamites left, and they ran into East Africa, and they ran into West Africa. And that's why we have the people that you call Yoruba, all right, that they went west. That's the family of Ham from Mizraim, Matazar, ancient Egyptians. Look at their religion. Oludumare. Okay, Oshun, Shango. Research their religion and look at ancient Greek, and it's the same thing. The Yoruba. Now remember, once we got there, we became slaves. And when we became slaves, we took on their names. We became Yoruba. Okay? We became these different things. So when we got sold 300 or 200 years later, we were in assimilated to their practices, but we still had our own practices also. The ones of us that did not get conquered, did not get caught and sold into as slaves. All right. But some of us didn't go by a name. Some of us were told, this is your name. You're this, you're that. When you read the book, read the book that the guy wrote, Olao de Equiano, the interesting narrative. He was a slave that wrote a book in 1789 about slavery, about his experiences. When he wrote his book, he didn't call himself by a particular tribe. He didn't say he was from an area that had this particular name. All right. So now when you're looking at pre-1000, 500 BC, there is no way that Israelites, everybody talk about Egypt and Africa, there's no way that Israelites, that Shemitic people, developed West African culture. There's no way that we develop Central or Northern East African culture, because we are not the sons of Ham. We are the sons of Shem. And what we developed was destroyed for the most part by the invading Europeans in our ancient homeland of Israel, of Haran. That's where we come from. This whole corridor had to be destroyed. This is what the fighting and arguing and fussing was about. They wanted to get control of this area where we were first, and they used us to do it during the Crusades. So now, once you start talking about now, you know, there's no way that we developed, especially before 1000, West Africa. There's no way we did it. Hamites did that. Now, at a certain point, we came into West Africa, but what we did was more or less improving or innovating on ideas that they had already established. The system was already in place. All right. The system was already in place. So now, before ancient Egypt, and this is what they don't tell you also, they wouldn't tell you. Before ancient Egypt and running concurrent and after ancient Egypt, you had what? You had many civilizations in the east of Africa, by Shemitic and Hamitic people, and a little bit of Japhet that were working together. Okay. You had Sumeria, you had Acadia, you had Babylon, you had Nineveh, you had Ur, you had Aram or Syria, you had Canaan, you had Tyre, you had Assyria, and you had all these things east of the Nile and west of Tigris. And then right on the Nile River, what you have? You had Egypt. But that's all you really have is Egypt. Egypt then going further south into ancient Nubia. But all of the historical accolades for our people didn't really happen in Africa. And our people didn't become a nation. Our people didn't become a nation, okay, until around, 1446 BC, when we came out of Egypt. Okay, and then it wasn't until like 1410, 1404 that we took over Israel, and we took it from the Canaanites. Why? Because the Most High said we could. Because they ended up leaving from that area anyway for their own good. And where did they go? They went all the way down here into South Africa, Southern Africa. The so-called white man came all the way down and started fighting against them. The Zulus are not Shemitic people. Nobody in Africa even hardly calls themselves Shem or Ham. It's all some term that somebody made up later on. All right. So this is our homeland up here. And this is the sad part about it, man. While you all focused over here, which was the place of your exile, you focus all over here. Everything European, everything white. That's your focus over here. Meanwhile, and you arguing and fighting and fussing and can't love each other. Meanwhile, over here, our people are literally becoming extinct. Literally, populations are shrinking of Black, Israelite, so-called Hispanic, Latino, whatever you want to call it. And that's why I really hate that we got to use these terms, Black, Hispanic, Latino, Native American, because one, it's exclusionary. It excludes the Israelites. You say a Black Israelite as opposed to a Hispanic or Latino Israelite. But you never see that in the Bible. You never see that in the Torah. Why? Because it didn't exist. You were called by your name, by your tribe. So that's why the people that came into India in slavery, the people that came to Sri Lanka in slavery, in Pakistan, Iran and Iraq, even in Kuwait, we are literally becoming extinct. All right, there's a town right here. Right here, I'm gonna show you the town. It's in eastern Greece. Hope I can pull it up. I'll know the name when I see it. Kavala, there it is, right there. Kavala by Zatikon or Zathia. Let's get the large town over there. Xanthia. So Kavala is like the major town. No, Kavala is like the small town, and Xanthia is the big town for the area. All right, let's see if we can pull it up. All right, that's Kavala. All right. Now, I know you wonder, man, why he going to this Greek place? Kavala. This is the town. Nice place to live, right? Look like a nice place to live. But now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you something real quick. And this brother, man, I'm going to show you something. And this is how the so-called European tricked us, man. We got literally right now, we have Israelite families that are becoming extinct, that have become extinct, where the male have nobody to carry his seed on. Nobody carry his seed on from his people. Nobody can carry that seed on. So he marries a woman that looks like the conquering people, Edomites, Adawamyam. And once he does that, man, there's no potency in being who you are no more, because you look like the people that conquered you. You look, act like, talk, and think like. Your whole genetics have changed. Now, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go to YouTube real quick. And check this out when I go to YouTube. I'm gonna put in Kavala. All right. Actually, I'm gonna put in Afro Greeks. Check this out. Now, I'm going to play this video for you. I hadn't even planned on going here. All right. But the Spirit led me to pull this video up, like y'all be saying, right? All right. But I feel like Yahweh pulling me to make this point, to show you exactly what I'm talking about. And let me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to hook up a, get their speaker going real quick. All right. Is there? All right. So. Okay, I got a little one right here. Maybe this one will work. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get the good. Might not be able to use the good charger, so I might have to use this smaller charger. Well, actually, maybe y'all can hear it from the sound. Let me get to it first. Okay. Check this out. Let me show you something. The man you're looking at right here, look at this. Look at this man right here. His name is Salihoglu. See his name right here. Look at his name. This guy's name, Salihoglu. Let me make it big for you. His name right here is Ayhan Salihoglu. Look at him. Now you would say he was maybe brown-skinned white person, right? Or maybe he could pass for Argentinian or something, or someplace in South America. But check this out. Now look at this guy right here. When we begin talking in the video, look at this guy. Remember, Salihoglu, 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Salihoglu. Now check this out. Now this girl right here, let's go back. These are Israelites, Yashalayim, that were brought to Greece as slaves. And who knows where else they've been scattered around. And the reason I'm saying that is, I'm going to tell you why. It's because they've been breeding them out. There was no other Israelites there for them to have babies with. So they married the Gentile women and had babies with them. Like this girl right here. This is a Hebrew girl. This is an Israelite girl. But now who's she going to marry? It's not a whole bunch of men that look like her that's in that village of Kabbalah. And it's a small village. But mind you, this is in northeastern Greece, right by Turkey. All right? Look at this little boy right here. That's a Hebrew boy. But once again, they had to marry them Edomite women because they don't have no women there that they can marry that look like them, and the men want to carry his seed on. It's only natural. You're going to want to carry your seed on. And they married these women from the town areas that are Gentiles. He said, the whites brought us here from Sudan as slaves. And since then, we live here. So these are Greeks that was taken from Sudan, Africa, where we ran to as refugees, and they made us slaves and sold us. Look at his name. Now watch his name. Now look what he said right here. They said they found 2,500-year-old African people sculpture in the village, which is about 500 BC, which is about the time that we left from Babylon from being slaves. I don't know if Africans being all up in Greece, not northeastern Greece. This is northeastern Greece we in right here. So these people that got this little sculpture here, these were probably Israelites. But let's keep going. Let's keep listening and looking.
Από 2.500 χρονών. Εγώ τώρα άμα πεταχτώ και να τους πω είμαι πρόγονος στο Δημοκρίτο, θα πάθουν πλάκα. Γιατί ακόμα δεν είναι.
Now look at his name. Sampri, right? His name is Sampri.
Υπήρχε Ελλάδα όταν ήμουν εγώ Έλληνας. Αλλιώς λένε ότι είναι πριν 200 χρόνια. Τότε τους
No, I ain't even gonna perpetrate. He do look a little bit like some ham, like East African ham. But shoot, my man fit the prophecies. Who knows how long they was in East Africa before they got taken as slaves? You see what I'm saying? They could have did the same thing. They brought the men there, wasn't no women, so bam, they started having babies by the low class, you know, Cushite women, and then bam, generations later, man, let's sell them off money from the Europeans. From who? The Ottoman Turks. From Eastern Istanbul East and Istanbul West. The Ottoman Turks controlled that. Turkey, ancient Turkey, Eastern Greece. Ottoman Turks ran that. So he said the Ottoman Turks used them as slaves. Okay, let's keep going.
Οθωμανική αυτοκρατορία ιστορία δεν είναι 200-300 χρόνια. Η ιστορία είναι πολύ παλιά.
Now this is what they have in the village reminding them that they came there as slaves. So this ain't no African traders that came there and said, oh yeah, we're going to stay there. This is Israelites that came there as slaves that fulfill the prophecies of Deuteronomy chapter 28. They fulfill the prophecies. Now this is in Greece. And that's why white people don't want you going into Europe and Asia. They want you in Africa. Because when you go to Europe and Asia, it's clear who's who and how they got there, and we need to build. When you go into Africa, that's the land of Ham. We wasn't taken there for the most part as slaves. We was shipped out of there as slaves. Now they saying come back in here. But that's y'all land. That ain't our land. Our land is in the Middle East, Eastern Mediterranean. What we look like going to we're going to another whole ocean. We Mediterranean people. That's where we come from. Okay, let's keep going. Now I'm gonna fast forward. Another guy. I don't want to overlook this part right here. He's showing you people getting beat in ancient Greece. Slaves in ancient Greece getting beat. Now, if you look at ancient Greece, the color was anything that was a man was colored black. Anything that was a woman was colored white. In the ancient Greek people, this is Japhet's people, which is the Hawaiians, and most of the Pacific Islanders come from Japhet. They got kicked out of there. They got kicked out of there. All right. By the so-called white man, the Greeks, when they took over, the Edomites that took over their territories under Alexander and them, and under Philip. Okay. Now remember that guy's name. We're gonna get back to him in a minute. All right, here he is again. Listen what he say. I'm gonna show you what he say. Hear what he say? We have the same great grandfather. His grandfather and mine are brothers. So this dude you looking at right here is an Israelite, but he's in Greece, but he still knows who he is after 200 years. So how the hell you gonna believe Nathaniel saying that, oh yeah, 2 generations, they forgot who they were. They forgot they were. You got people in Greece that's been there for over 200 years that still know that they come from Israel. I mean, that still know that their ancestors came there as slaves and they know who they are. So this whole false doctrine, oh yeah, we was Israelites scattered and we didn't know who we were. We didn't know where we came from. They might not have known that there was Israel, but they wasn't claiming nothing else. They know that they was from another place. So this guy just told you, man, we came from Sudan. You say, well, yeah, my family say we came from Nigeria. Even you can say that now. And that's what, 10,000 miles away. So you mean to tell me people that's less than 2,000 miles away in the ancient territory of their ancestors can be taken across a little sea of water called the Mediterranean into Greece, and suddenly they forget who they are? Come on, man. But because people don't study, people don't research, people think that Nathaniel 7, Bishop Nathaniel, and Elder Rakashiar, y'all got them being gods. Okay, you got Johanna being a god. He's a god. They got the full truth. They the home of the truth. They ain't affiliated with nobody else. Okay. So all these little groups, Tazadakia and them, and they teach that same garbage. Oh yeah, when you read the history, the Greeks oppressing us hardcore began in about 167 BC. And it ended 2 years later when Antiochus Epiphanes got that nasty disease that Yahweh put on him when his insides was falling out. And then on top of that, 2 years later, 165 BC, he stopped it, reversed everything, gave us 3-day holiday before a feast day and before the new moon, and 3 days after the new moon and the feast day. 3 days off, you can't hold no Israelites, Yasharallah, to do nothing. So that was a 3-year time period. So this whole time, you've been thinking that Antiochus was doing something to us for 100 years. No, the Maccabees stepped in after Antiochus gave us, reversed his evil orders. Then the Maccabees stepped in and took land back. So where's these Israelites? These thousands upon thousands of Israelites got taken from Israel, millions of them, and put into Greece and forgot who they were. Where they at? In the time of Paul? In less than a 200-year period, they forgot who they were. But this guy is telling you 200 years in modern times, when people are more stupid about who they are. People are more stupid about their family history. There's no oral traditions. There's no griots. There's no town historians. There's no elders now. But he can tell you that 200 years ago, his grandfather was brought there as a slave, and tell you he came there from Sudan. And now his cousin saying that we have the same great grandfather. His grandfather and my grandfather are brothers. So they know who their ancestors were, man. Come on, man. These are not Israelites in a Gentile state of mind. These are Israelites that's in a Gentile land that know they came there and where they came from. They might not know who they are, but you don't either. Your mama don't, your uncle don't. You ain't gonna call them no Gentiles except to justify that little Mickey Mouse crackerjack box doctrine. You want a ring at the bottom of the crumbs, or you want a little lick on tattoo. You want a lick on tattoo. You want a bubblegum ring. Man, do some studying and research on who your people are and where they are, and let them tell you their history. Don't believe these people that just now started to investigate. These people have been living it, man, for thousands of years. They've been living it for hundreds of years. Now, Sali Hoglu, let's see about this. Let's see the same name. Come on, let's go. Here's another guy right here. This guy right here. I think this is the other Sali Hoglu. His name is Sali Hoglu. Let's see the other Sali Hoglu. I'm sorry. This is Sampri. My bad. They're the Sampris. The Sampris got the same name, but they're telling that they got the same grandfather. Maybe this is a Sali Hoglu.
Εγώ τόσο δεν έχω. Μόνος μου. Τους γάμους που πήγαινε ο ξάδος μου, εγώ τον έβλεπα. Και τώρα, σήμερα στα 3 χρόνια που πάει.
Okay, so the Sampris and the Sali Hoglu, all these guys are cousins. And now he obviously had both his parents was actually probably Yasharallah. Okay. Badi Hoglu. Now I don't know whose son that is. Maybe that's his son. I don't know. I think that's his son. but they got different title, different last name. I don't know why or how, but we know that the Balihoglus is Israelites, and obviously these Sampris, which is the same as the other dude that started out talking, they Sampris too. So they are Israelites. All right, so let's go back to the map now. Go back to the map. All right, now the video is off. So now the reason that we even went to map was to show you what was it? It was Avato, right? Not Cavalli, it was Avato. Let's go to AVATO. Avato. Okay, so this is where they from. Avato, and then Kavala and Zanti is in between. Okay, this is more like I was looking at Kavala like, man, I thought Kavala was a small town, but how's it gonna be a small town with like 2 major highways right in the same vicinity and then another one over here? But Avato, yeah, dirt road action, yeah, little small town. Ain't no main map highways listed on there. So this is where they from. And then they mainly identify with Zanti. Zanti is closer for them to get to. They go up the road right there, bam, bam, Zanti's right there. I gotta go up here and go down this highway, and they're there. But this one is closer. Okay, Zanti is closer. So my point is that these people, as you just saw in the video, oh, that's why I went to the video. Let me go back. I remember why I went to the video now. I'm gonna show you what he's saying in the video. I'm gonna go back to the video. Okay, let's go back to this video. Show you what the brother says right here. At around 2:20, he says it. And listen what the brother says. You see that? Did y'all read that? Listen to what he said. You see what he's saying? This is what the brother is saying. Now, this is an Israelite right here. This is an Israelite that went, his ancestors went from Israel into Eastern Africa, and from Eastern Africa, they got sold as slaves into Greece. And look what he's saying. If we keep marrying white girls, then we are going to turn white as well. But listen to what he said. He don't like that though. I'm gonna go back. Let me start from where he was at. All right, let's listen to all his words. Listen what he said. He said we used to be around 60 families. Not everybody left and went to Germany or to the Netherlands. Got old Israelite men right there. Right? See the brown skin. We used to be around 60 families, most of which migrated to Germany and the Netherlands. All right, let's keep going.
Γερμανία περισσότερη, Ολλανδία. Πλέον μείναμε δεύτερα εξαδέλφια, τρίτα εξαδέλφια, τέταρτα εξαδέλφια. Αναγκαστικά.
So he said, man, ain't no people left now, so we got to marry white girls. Now they thinking that they can't marry their cousin, but if they knew about Deuteronomy, about Leviticus chapter 18, they would know that it was okay to marry a cousin. But let's keep going though, according to the Bible. Because they don't want to, he said, now we have, nothing what he say. He said, now we have to marry white girls. Why? Because everybody gone. Ain't no women left for us. So now, man, we got to marry white girls now. Unlike some of you Negroes, man, you happy to marry a white girl. But this brother saying, man, now we got to marry white girls. Listen what he said now. See? We got the same grandfather. All right, we have the same great grandfather. So this is the Israelite too.
Philadelphia. Από εκεί πέρα τώρα...
He said Inadelphia. See that? Inadelphia. Delphia means in Greek is what? Brother, right? Like Philadelphia. Like the city of brotherly love. Phila is love. And then Delphia is brother. Philadelphia. Like Adolf, Adelpho. It means brother. All right. So Inadelphia. All right, they were brothers. They got the same grandfather, same father. All right, same great ancestor.
Εμείς είμαστε τρίτα ή τέταρτα ξαδέλφια.
If we keep marrying white girls, then we're going to turn white as well. Now, I want you to pay close attention to what he's about to say. And this shows you, to me, that the so-called Europeans, the so-called white man, he did this on purpose. I'm going to show you what he says. Listen what the man say right now. And that's, like I said, that makes me think that this did not happen on accident. That they did this on purpose. All right, now give me a second. That they did this on purpose. All right. Now check this out, what he says. Check out what he says.
Αλλά τώρα με λευκή, αν φας λευκή, θα γίνεις λευκός. Κάτι που δεν καθαρίζεται με σαβόνι.
See what he said? When something cannot be cleaned with soap, then it will be cleaned through generations. Meaning that he's saying that really don't want us here. Our time is up, and they brought just enough of them there to do the work that they had to do, and then they don't have nobody else to breed with, and now we won't even see them no more after a while. So this is the same thing they did in Brazil. It's called blancamiento. They try to make everybody white by saying don't marry dark-skinned people. They want to make everybody just marry light. So they say only marry the light one. And the same thing poison that the so-called white man fed into our brains in Puerto Rico, in Cuba, and Dominican Republic, in Mexico. They got you thinking that, oh, it's good when you marry somebody that's dark, that's light, but it's bad when you marry somebody that's dark. Why you marry his black behind and his dark behind? Oh, él es muy prieto. No debe casarse con él. Van a tener como hijos muy como chiñoso. Pelo muy chino. No deben tener el pelo chino, deben tener el pelo muy lacio. Y piel como leche is what they want. Straight hair and milk like and skin like milk. They don't want the real tight curly hair. They don't want that. So they've been taught to hate themselves and how their ancestors look, and only want to get something that's not even brown, but just like straight up white. Okay. Oh, míralo, su bebé. Él tiene los ojos bonitos azules. The baby got pretty blue eyes. Oh. Sí, porque es descendiente del diablo. Yeah, because he's a descendant of the devil. All right, keep going. Most single African men were married to white women. So our color changed. So they had these men marrying white women. And when he say African, he talking about Yasharala that came from the place they call Africa as slaves. He already said that they came as slaves. All right. Okay, that's where I got Kabbalah from. He said, my great-grandparents are from Kavala or Kavala. And look at this. See the brown-skinned man right there. You see that? Brown-skinned man right there. Let's keep going. Now, Kavala, remember, is to the west. You got to go north from Avato to get to Kavala. All right?
προπαπούδες μου είναι καβαλιώτες. Ο προπαπούς.
My great grandfather served in the military, and when he returned, he was sent to Zante. So they made him go to Zante when he came back from the military. Now, this is the same story that I heard from people that were in Mali. When they came back, well, it was a different story, but they went to the war. And when they came back from World War II, they said, when they left, they called themselves Jews. And they said, when you get back from the war, don't call yourself Jews no more. Call yourself just African, Black, Mali. Don't call yourself Jews no more. So they was calling themselves Jews in Mali, some of the people, before they left for the war, World War II, in the French army. Then after World War II, they said, now don't call yourself Jews or nothing like that. Juif. Don't call yourself Juif Noir. Or don't call yourself Juif, Jew. Just call yourself Afrique. Afrique. Call yourself African. African. Just call yourself African. All right? He was taken by a bey, a landowner, who made him work in the fields. He was taken, bro, like kidnapped, and somebody made him work in the field. He would work and work all his life as a slave. You can't tell me this man ain't no Israelite. He supported his wife and their siblings through this work. Everything is fine for me. Even if it gets worse, it will still be fine. It's a struggle. Now, this guy sounds like Judah right here. Judah is an old lion who will rouse him up. He say, everything is fine. Everything is fine. It's a struggle. But, you know, if it get worse, it's still fine. You know what I'm saying?
Πόσα χρόνια το έχεις μαζί? Αυτό, 26. Τώρα 27 πάει. Τι άλλες δουλειές κάνεις? Μουσική, σαν DJ. Θα αρέσει πολύ το DJ? Ναι. Πιο πολύ κάτι και εδώ στο χωριό με τι ασχολούνται, αγροτικά? Αγρότες.
So he said people there are mainly farmers working in the fields. All right. Now, this is going to take me back. So we're going to cut off the video right now for that. All right. Let's go back to our map. Okay. Let's go back to our map. All right. So now, okay, on the map area, that's where they were from. Okay. Kavala, right here. Not Kavala. Ivalo. Right, that's where they were from. All right. So now what we were saying, the point that was being made was this: all of our people have been always looking, you know, only in the place where we came into captivity. And this is going back to the original point I was making. I know you're wondering what this whole big thing was about. The point was that you have our people, all right, in Macedonia that was taken as slave. Thessalonica. Guess what? That's the Thessalonians that Paul was writing to. All right, right here in Israel. This is the Smyrna that Paul was that Yahushua was talking to in Revelation chapter 2. And right here you have what? You have Ephesus from the Ephesians that Paul was writing to. These people didn't just disappear. They're still in this region. They're still in this region. And we just showed you a proof and evidence of the videotape, all right, that the Israelites are still in these areas, and then a lot of them came there as slaves. Okay, a lot of them came there as slaves. So now, but there in Greece and in Turkey and in Georgia, Russia. You got all these Israelites there. Iraq, Iran, okay? And over here, Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka. Look, it's a trail. You can see what they did. It's a trail. They were just taking them as slaves all along here and stopped in Sri Lanka. Okay, stopped in Sri Lanka. But the point is that all of our people over here, guess what? Their population are getting smaller. So we should have been established relationships of friendship and brotherhood with these people that are our brothers and started bringing our families back together. The resources, because this is where we come from. This was the first wave of slavery for our people. From Israel, right? From Israel over into Assyria, right around this area. All right. And then from Assyria down over here into Babylon, right around here as a slave. All right. And then from Babylon, the next major captivities outside of our land, not even close lands, were okay. Now the Greeks start to put us in slavery, and then the Romans. And around those time periods, each time, what do? We ran into, Eastern Africa. And then by the time the Romans came on the scene in 135, after the Bar Kokhba rebellion, then we started to run into, we started to run from the Bar Kokhba rebellion. We started to run into Sudan and into the Eritrea areas. And you have people there now that keep the Torah, that practice the Torah. All right. So these things, man, that happen are prophecies in the Bible. And these are the Shemitic people. These are Hebrew people. All right. So are we trying to hold on to something, in America, and we're trying to go to Israel? Meanwhile, your people in this part of the world are suffering. They're losing their identity. They're losing their culture. They're losing their Torah, which is the culture I'm talking about. I'm talking about the culture of the Bible, the dress, the language, the customs, the laws of the Bible. All right. So now we start to migrate. All right. We should have been migrating back to the east, the Eastern Hemisphere, because that's where we come from. All right. We're talking Turkey. That's our homeland. When Mosai came talking to Abraham, saying, hey, Abraham, go into the land of Canaan. I'm going to make you a great nation, man. Abraham was right here. He was right there when the Most High told him that. In the land of, let's go back. Let me go back to the original little map I was using. I like the original Google Maps. I don't like that one so much. I like this world map joint right here for now. Oh, that ain't what I wanted, is it? Let's go back to this map right here. All right. Take off all this. Haran. That's where you from. Okay. This is where your father Abraham was at. When the Most High told him he's going to make him a great nation, he was right here. This is where Abraham was. And where's this at? Haran. You see that? Let me zoom it in for you. Haran. Actually, yeah, Haran right there. All right. Haran. So now, see that? Haran. But now, where is Haran? Let's pull up the map. Let me make this back to 100. It might bug out the screen. Haran is right here. It's in Turkey. All right, let's pull it up again. Right there in Turkey. That's where your father came from. That's where our ancestor Abraham came from. Right there. That's where he came from. That's where our father Abraham came from. Right there. And these are things that they try to make everybody look, oh, Africa, 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 because Africa is the closest place to get to across the water. And they got people that look black like you, and you think it's easiest to do that. Ask anybody that tried to go to Ghana to get that right to abode. Ask anybody that's tried to get the right to abode. And what happened? It's a whole bunch of red tape to abide there. Now, I will say this. Every nation in the world can come and dwell in I believe it's Bolivia. Every nation can come in and get a passport on demand. Most nations can get a passport on demand for Bolivia. So I will say that as a side note. Okay. But so this is the ancient homeland of Abraham. This is when the Most High came and said to him, Abraham, I'm going to make you a great nation. Okay? Let me read it to you. This is Genesis chapter 11, verse 31. And Terah took Abram his son, and Lot the son of Haran, his son's son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife. And they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees to go to the land of Canaan, and they came unto Haran. Haran is right here. They came unto Haran and dwelt there. Okay. And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. So our father Terah, he died here. All right, Terah, he died here. Now check this out. Now at Terah, now this is Genesis 12 and 1. Now Yahweh had said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house. So this is Abraham's land, and Abraham's family was up there, not down here. So stop acting like Abraham was an African, was a damn Hamite. Abraham wasn't no Hamite. He was a Shemite, and his ancestors came from Haran, Turkey. And they were brown-skinned people. Some of them might have looked like the features the same as the people in Africa had, or the Hamites had. I mean, but they had the same father. Ham, Shem, and Japheth had the same father, Noah. So they had the similar characteristics. It was only until the so-called white man under the Ottoman Turks took over this area that everybody started to get more pale and white. It was only until he started going into, Georgia, Russia right there. Going into Georgia, Russia. Coming out of there. When he went in Georgia, Russia, then he came out conquering everything. Okay? That's when everything started to change. So the Most High told Abram, let's zoom in. He said, get away from your father's people. He said, get thee out of thy country. So this is Abraham's country, Haran, all right? Southeastern Turkey. Haran, southeastern Turkey, thy father's country, and from thy kindred. So let me make it in plain terms. The black people that came to Turkey as slaves, the black people that went to America as slaves, the black people that went to India as slaves. Their father Abraham is from Turkey. I hope I made that clear. He's not from Africa. He's not from Egypt. And if he was, that would be okay. That would be fine. But he's not. So get thee from thy father's what? Country. And from thy father's kindred. Now, some of the people that are over there now still kind of look, you know, have a nice brown tone to their skin. And actually, some of them look like, you know, the people, the Israelites that came over into Guatemala, you know, into Mexico to settle. That's how they look, like a modern day Guatemalan or Mexican. A lot of them over there have that look. Some of them look like modern day Cubans. They have that type of look. That kind of, you may call Afro-Asiatic type of look. Okay, Afro-Asiatic type of look. A mix between like African and Asian features. Okay, so-called African and so-called Asian. Asian, of course, meaning, you know what, too? I'm gonna break something down to you. Well, I'm not gonna go into that yet. So now the Most High told him here, go from this land, and I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing, and I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curse thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. So Abraham departed as Yahweh had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abram took Sarai, his wife, and Lot, his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran, and they went forth to go into the land of Canaan. And into the land of Canaan they came. Now, Canaan, once again, is the ancient land of Israel, right here. Okay. And Abram passed through the land unto the place of Shechem, unto the plain of Moreh. And the Canaanite was then in the land, which is talking about ancient Israel. Okay. So he went to Bethel ultimately. And then Abraham left from Bethel and went toward the south. And then there was a famine and he went into Egypt. Okay. So this is the way that this is the territory, the place where our father Abraham's foot walked. The Most High said, wherever your foot walk is going to be yours. And he walked from here all the way down here into Egypt. So that's ours. It's already ours. It's already ours. But we got kicked out of this portion right here called Israel because we broke the lease. The terms of the lease was you stay in the land, you obey me. You follow my rules. If you don't follow my rules, you got to get out of my house. And that's what happened. We broke the rules and he made us get out of his house. And to this day, we still run around homeless, thinking that America is our home, thinking that Haiti is our home, thinking that Jamaica is our home. These places are our home. Our home is where the Most High gave to our father. From here all the way to there. Right? So these territories in between. And one of the easiest, probably safest places right now to be at is, for us at least, is probably going to be west of Haran and then maybe north of Haran. Who got beef with North Turkey? Now, Turkey did move some manpower to the border of Syria. Everybody read about the Aleppo, the Aleppo Torah scrolls, the Aleppo biblical writings, the Aleppo copies of the Torah. Well, here you go right here, Aleppo. You're in the Tiberias, well, here you go right here, Tiberias area. You're in the Samaritan Bible, Samaritan Pentateuch. Well, here you go, Samaritan areas. We didn't have, what records do we have down here? What records of our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Shem, all right, Eber, Issachar. What records do we have down here? Now, we ran into Nigeria. Some of the Gadites ran into Nigeria from all the crap that was happening around Israel. Some of us ran into Nigeria, but that's not our homeland. We settled there because we had no place else to go. So we came into Nigeria, and some of the Gadites stayed there in Nigeria. Okay? Some of the Gadites stayed there in Nigeria. Okay? So now what we got to see is that this whole thing is ours for us to see where we want. Now, you want to be in Turkey? Go ahead over there. Syria, go ahead. Israel, go ahead. Lebanon, go ahead. Now, ultimately, we're going to take the land of Israel. We're going to go into the land of Israel, and the Most High is going to give it to us. Because the people that's in Israel now, they took it by force with armies and the United Nations backing them up. But we ain't going to have to do all of that. The Most High is going to make us have it. All right? I just want to share that. Our ancient homeland. Because a lot of people, when they think of ancient Israel, they think of here. But then when they think of the Israelites and, you know, land, they think of Africa. They think right here. And what I was going to say earlier was that you can't go to these places and make money for free. If you go into Ghana, they got a right to abode law, but they all the time, everybody here wants you to invest. Africa is going to fall. America is going to fall. I'm investing in what's going to be safe to sustain me until the Most High delivers us from the four corners of the earth and bring us back into the wilderness. Even I was talking to a brother the other day. Excellent brother. Even in Ethiopia, if you want to go over there and start a business, okay, fine, start a business. But guess what? You got to have my people working for you. You got to let the Ethiopians be the employees at your business. Okay, well, see that? Don't nobody make that rule for them. When the white man let Ethiopians into America, he don't say, well, yeah, buddy, you can have your restaurant, you can have your little shop, but you got to let Americans run it. That's just wicked and evil, selfish and greedy, man. But that's the rules of the game. You want to play in their land, their backyard, it's their sandbox, it's their rules. Like it or not, take it or leave it. You see? If you don't like it, go do something someplace else. But that's the rules. So what I'm showing you is that there's strings attached. Now, I'm not advocating for you to go this place or that place. I'm just giving you the facts so you will know what is your homeland, where you come from, and what your fathers were given by the Most High Power, Yahweh. If you want to go there, that's fine. If you don't want to go there, I guess that's okay too. It ain't built for everybody, you know what I'm saying, to do something like that. All right. Now, we did initially come to America, but when we came here, you know, we came here to try to keep them laws, and it didn't work out. And then Yahweh sent the other nations over here to conquer us, to conquer Mexico, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Jamaica, Trinidad, to take it from the tribe of Dan that was over there already. All right. And that's what I want to show you. This is the Shemites' dwelling place. Shem was around here. Shem was around here. The Hebrews were around this area right here. Because remember, you got Ararat right there. Remember, Mount Ararat is right there. It's right there. All right. What's that? Vanna? Right over by Von. This is Ararat right there. They might even have it marked on that. Nope, they ain't got it marked on there. But this is where Mount Ararat is. Right? This is where the ark is. This is where the ark got they got an archaeological site right around there. So Noah's Ark is over here. All right. It's over here. Check out this. That's what they got going on over there now. Little park right there. Little houses, open plains. Nice little ravines. Little church. Now this again is in this is in Turkey. Right near where you came from. Where your ancestors came from. All of us came from. Every nation on the planet Earth, ancestors came from right over here. Stepped off the ark, Mount Ararat. Right there. Right there. So this is ours. All of this belongs to you, Israelite man and woman. All right. The first peoples to live in Americas and the people that came there in slavery. This is all yours. Now, I was saying right now, the safest place to be at is probably Turkey out of all these different places right here. Probably Turkey. Okay. Now, the last thing I wanted to tell you about, which, let me put this in. This area right here, once again, the only place on the planet Earth that I know of right now that will let you in their country, work, set up a business, and you don't got to pay nobody no money to the government. All right? No visa fees, no work visa, no work visa. All right? No entrance fees. And what else? What else you got to pay when you come to a country? You got to get a work permit? No, you don't got to do that. You got to get a visitor's permit? No, you don't got to do that. And we're talking starting out 1 year without having no extra paperwork. Just come in the country, bam, welcome. What you trying to do? You can, in other words, whatever you can do in your home country, you can go to Georgia, not too far from Mount Ararat. The same thing. And then you say, okay, I want to leave there. You go to Haran, you want to. Well, it's getting kind of funny. Syrians acting funny. Okay, well, let me leave and go to Istanbul. Everybody talk about Constantine. You say Constantine was a black man, right? Why don't you go to where Constantine was at? Why don't you go to Constantinople, which is Istanbul today? Why don't you go there? Everybody read the Bible, right? You read the Bible. And you and you talk about, you read from the book of Ephesians. Well, guess what? Let me show you this. EPHESUS, Ephesus Archaeological Museum. Let's see what that is. Wow, right there. You see that? Ephesus Archaeological Museum. From the Ephesians, right there by Izmir. Right there by Izmir. You see that? Look at that. You might say, okay, what about Smyrna? in Revelations. Oh, Smyrna is the same thing as Izmir. Same thing. Smyrna took you to the map. Izmir. See that? Let me do it again. Okay, let's say Ephesus. Okay. Bam. Ephesus archaeological. See that comes up. Now watch what happened when I put in Smyrna. 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 Oh, that's the same as Izmir. See that? So you read about all these places in the Bible. What about if I want to go to Thessalonians? Thessalonians. See that? Thessalonica, which is Thessalonica from Thessalonians. Well, where's that at? Okay, Greece. Right over from Kavala, where the brother said his grandfather was from. Worked there, was his ancestors were brought there as slaves. And then he said he went in a war for the white man, came back and they made him a slave more, put him in captivity, bondage when he came, Avato. You see that? So that's Thessalonica right there. And this is what they got everybody distracted looking at Africa. Not realizing that the cradle, listen to what I'm saying to you. The cradle of biblical life, the cradle of biblical experiences, the cradle of the whole biblical narrative is within this circle right here. I wouldn't even go that far. Is in this circle right here. Now, when Paul went to Spain and things of that nature, so, you know, and we still probably have Israelites in them areas, as well as Gentiles that was listening audiences of what Paul was talking about also. But this right here, all right, this is what Paul was writing to brothers and sisters at. This is Smyrna. This is Ephesus, all right? That's Yahushua. He wrote letters to them 7 churches right there. He told Paul, write to them churches, write to the people right there. All right, so that's where, you know, the Most High had things going on right there. And then you got what? You got right to the church of Philadelphia. Philadelphia. Let's put maybe Turkey. Philadelphia tours now. Is it Greece? Oh, they saying this place called Al-Asahir. Let's see what that is. Oh, same thing. This is the cusp of what the Messiah was talking about with Paul. And when he was in the 7 churches of Asia Minor. And then you got the church of Pergamon. And then you got Sardis. Let me just, so this is the Bible world right here. So, you know, so we can be clear what I'm saying. This, let me break it down. Let me break it down for you so you can understand. So you don't got no excuse to say I didn't do a good job of explaining. Okay, let me make it simple. This right here is the main biblical world. This right here is not. This right here is not. This right here is not. This is where we were at when we were dealing with the Father in righteousness. This is where we got sent to as a result of wickedness and disobedience. This is where we got sent to as a result of wickedness and disobedience. Does that make it clear? But now, even though we got sent here, we still have these 7 churches that Yahushua himself was writing to these people. Yahweh himself spoke to Abraham here. Yahweh himself spoke to Joseph down here in Egypt. Yahweh himself spoke to the prophets in Israel. Yahweh himself spoke to Peter over here in Babylon. Yahweh didn't speak to nobody here, nobody here, nobody here, nobody here. All the people he talked to and that we were writing to mainly were right in these areas right here. Peter was over here. All right. And they say that James, Thomas left over here, left from over here and came over here to India, down to Kerala. That's the story. He went over into Kerala. All right. That he went over there and started teaching. And they got records in history that they say corroborate that claim. All right. So now we all the way over these other areas over here, but this is the biblical world. All right. So when you look in Revelation, all right, when you look in Revelation and you see where Ephesus was the capital of Asia Minor. But when you look in Revelation and you see it talking about the 7 churches, I'm going to show you these 7 churches. All right. You got Ephesus, Smyrna, you got Pergamos, you got Thyatira, you got Sardis, Philadelphia, and Laodicea. These are the 7 churches or the 7 assemblies, the 7 Kehalim or the 7 Quahalium that Yahushua was talking to in the book of Revelation. All of them places are in Western Turkey, Southwestern Turkey. Ain't none of them in Africa. Okay. So in Revelation, when you go into chapter 1, all right, it says, verse 10, I was in the spirit on Yahweh's day, which is the Sabbath, and heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet, saying, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. And what thou seest, write in a book and send it unto the 7 churches which are in Asia, unto Ephesus, and unto Smyrna, and unto Pergamos, and unto Thyatira, and unto Sardis, and unto Philadelphia, and unto Laodicea. All of them. And I turned to see the voice that spake with me. And being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow. And his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the voice sound of many waters. Do you see that? Chapter 2, verse 1. Unto the angel of the church of Ephesus write, these things saith he that holdeth the 7 stars in his right hand, who walketh in the midst of the 7 golden candlesticks. I know thy works and thy labor and thy patience, and how thou canst not bear them which are evil. And thou hast tried them which say they are apostles and are not, and has found them liars. You see that? So he's writing these serious, deep letters to these people. And guess where the people are? Right here. That was his focus. That was his focus. That was his focus. Just like the focus of the prophets of Israel was Israel. Okay. So you're talking about all these areas right here. All these areas. All right, all these areas. Let's look at Turkey for a minute. This is where all them letters were being written to. This area right here. All right. And then Paul was writing letters to people up here, right here. Thessalonica. Still a big city. Nobody was writing because this is where the Shemites were. Brown ones and pale ones. That's where they were. Wasn't writing no letters to the church in West Africa, the church in East Africa, the Assembly of Hebrews in South Africa. You got to make that up to make it fit. But you can see clearly in the Bible that it says that Abraham was from Haran, which is Turkey. Paul was writing letters to Thessalonica, which is Greece. We had letters written to Smyrna and Ephesus and other places, which are in Turkey. The Most High told him to go into the land of Canaan, which is in the Eastern Mediterranean in Israel. We don't have nothing biblically that was going on down here that pertains to the children of Israel. So this whole time period, the so-called white man, he let you get a step closer. Oh, leave America. You can leave America, but go to Africa. But where was you before Africa? Okay. You were in Israel, in this land right here. Your father came down there from Turkey, Abraham. That's where Isaac's wife came from. That's where Jacob's wife came from. And some of them little brown-skinned people over there are still there as Hebrews. And some of the Israelites were even taken in Turkey and put in slavery in other parts of Turkey. Right into this day, their children are still there. And they got a lot of them thinking that you came from all the way from the southern tip of Antarctica. And we brought you here. Knowing that they come from right around the corner. You kidnapped them and brought them to over there. And they've been there for years. A lot of them. Now, some of them did come from, East Africa during the Arab slave trade. And then from the Ottoman Turk slave trade, which, took us into places that we wouldn't otherwise have went to if you'd have just left us alone. So we got forced to live in a different part of the world. Now, this is my grand finale. This is my grand finale. But before I do that grand finale, let me end it like this for this right here. All right, put it like this is not your ancestral homeland of your forefathers. We got three fathers that's always mentioned in the Bible: Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. None of them were over here. As beautiful as these places are, as beautiful as it is over here, we weren't here. All we got to do here is go wake up the lost sheep of the house of Israel, make them know the commandments, and encourage them to repent. Okay? Our forefathers didn't step foot over here, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The Most High said, I'm going to give you the land where you set your foot. They didn't step foot over here. Our forefathers came from this land right here. From Israel all the way up to Syria, okay, right there. That's where the forefathers came from. Right there. All the way down to Israel. That's our ancestral, the land that was given to our forefathers. So we come from Shem, and Shem's living here. Some Shemites still are over here, but we were given this land as the children of Shem. Then as the children of Abraham, and then Isaac, and then Jacob. So this is our territory that you read about in the scriptures. So we're right here. And then the father said, okay, ultimately what we're going to possess is from the river of Egypt, all right, to the Nile, to the Euphrates. From there, some would say to over here, all right, from there, and just go due west, all right. So at the river, and then east. This river, the Euphrates River, and then west. Okay. Now some people might say, well, it goes all the way down. The territory is going to go all the way down, follow this land, and then come back up to the river of Egypt, to the Nile River. But the Nile River don't stop. What's the source of the Nile River? You know what I'm saying? Check that out. So we're going to have all of this. Maybe so. But I know for sure we're going to have this. That's what the Most High told us. All right. And that's a little bit of Kuwait in there. A little tiny bit of Kuwait is in there. All right. So then Jordan, Iraq, and all, Okay, so that's our ancient homeland. We don't have nothing to do historically from our fathers with this land. Now, some groups of families might have said, you know what? Let's go into West Africa. Let's go into East Africa. Let's go into North Africa, South Africa. But that have nothing to do with the promise that the land, Yahweh said that he's going to give us. He didn't give us this. He didn't give us this. He gave us from here all the way up to here. We know for sure, 100%, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that that's our land. No doubt about it. We don't have to ask nobody. Right? We don't have to ask nobody or nothing. Right? We already know that that's our land. We already know that's our land. It's in the scriptures. It told us. Okay? It told us that was our land in the scriptures. So I would say be brave. I would say go a step further. If you're going to go someplace, go, number one, where you know that there's people that haven't heard this truth before. Go to Iraq, go to Iran and wake up our people over there. We might have some people in Afghanistan. We do have people in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, in India. Go there and wake up and teach our people. Get out of your comfort zone. This is your backyard. This is your backyard. Look at this. Right here, India is your backyard. Of our people, where they were at right there. Over here, man, that's not where we was at. Now we got people that were taken over here in slavery, but it's hard to distinguish them from the native, population. And a lot of us were taken from them areas as slaves. And a lot of people here, they know about the Bible. They know about the Torah. They've heard it before. Over here, they haven't. Over here, they haven't. Here, no. Here, no. Here, no. Here, no. Here, no. Here, no. You got people here that haven't heard nothing about being Israelites, about what Abraham looked like, about Abraham as our forefather, about the Messiah. The Messiah looks like us, brown-skinned man, woolly hair. That the Messiah died for their sins. That the Messiah, that your ancestors came from Turkey. We don't know nothing. They don't know anything about that. Now you can base from here or base from here and you can reach out to all these different places. You want to talk to your people, but base yourself, you know, someplace that's strategic. From here in India, you can go into all these places. Really, Iraq, you know, Afghanistan may be kind of central also, but I don't know how easy it's going to be to travel back and forth in terms of, you know, accessibility from Afghanistan. I don't know. You know, plus there's some other concerns you may want to take into consideration and address and resolve before trying to go to Kabul. Because who knows when the so-called white man in America is going to decide to drop another bomb on the people over there. You know, but hey, you got to go where you got to go. Wake up the people. Teach the sheep. Feed the sheep. You know, can't be afraid when it comes to doing the work of the Most High. When it comes to waking up our people, man. You know, so that's the homeland. That's the homeland. And if you're coming in kind of late right now, Ali Izar, just you might have to go back and look at the whole. You might have to go back and look at the whole thing, man. You know, all 2.5 hours of it, and then a written test. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, so that's where we come from. So we got to reach to the people that's in, you know, North, Central, South America, and the Caribbean. But don't forget about your brothers on the other side of the ocean. All right? Don't forget about your brothers that's all over the globe, Africa and Asia, even Russia. But our homeland, where we come from, is not Africa. Ham's land do not belong to you. You lightweight trespassing. You lightweight trespassing. I ain't gonna front. All right. You lightweight trespassing. But we've been so busy trying to build up our land of exile over in these countries. And this place is heavily under false European Christianity and Catholicism. Once you leave America, man, Roman Catholicism, idolatry everywhere. And worshiping false African demons that they calling gods and all of that. Hamite religion. Not African, but Hamite. And we're not Hamite. We covered that at the beginning part. We were not given the land of Ham. Ham settled in these areas when we were still over here in Israel. We didn't have nothing to do with building up these Hamite empires. For the most part, especially the ones that are, you know, before the birth of HaMashiach, before the birth of the Messiah. We definitely went over there popping like that. We didn't start really moving into there until like in masses, you know, until 70 AD, 135 AD, when Rome really came against us. And we ran into East and West. And from there, the bulk of us got taken away and put into slavery and captivity. All right. And then some of us came back into West Africa, into places like Liberia and Sierra Leone. We know we got Israelites over there that used to be slaves. All right. But everything else is a question mark. We know we got people in Nigeria that are Igbo, that are Israelites from the tribe of Gad, but they allowed other people to integrate into their society once they chose to want to obey and keep the Torah. And then they had other groups of Igbo that didn't keep the Torah, that had other groups integrating into their communities also. You see? So you got a lot of different, you know, mixing happening socially that really wasn't a part of what we had going on as a people by our rules and standards. All right. So that's what I want to close with. This is your ancient homeland, Yasharallah. You know, visit here. You want to make a trip? Take a trip here. I mean, you can go to West Africa, East Africa, North Africa, South Africa, but Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob never been there. That was a place of misery, suffering, slavery, captivity, betrayal for your people. Wasn't a good place. This right here, you know, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, this is all good memories. Turkey, good memories. Mount Ararat, good memories. Ephesus, Izmir, Smyrna, good memories. They got letters written to them by Yahushua himself in the book of Revelation. Yahushua wrote letters to these people over here. Peter wrote letters from Iraq, from Babylon. He tells you at the last letter in 2 Peter, he tells you, written from, I'm writing this letter to you from Babylon, which is in southern Iraq. Okay. When you go to the book of 2 Peter, let me see, where is it at? 2 Peter, is it in? Nah, I think it was 2 Peter. When he starts off, he says, they of Babylon salute thee. Like everybody in Babylon said, what's up, man? So he wrote to the people that was in Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, Bithynia. Where are these places at, man? Now, these are Israelites. When you look in the Greek, that word that Peter used in 1 Peter chapter 1 is parapidemos, which means foreign residents of the diaspora. That's who Peter's talking to in 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 1. That's the strangers that he's talking to. All right, that word again is parapidemos. All right. Now I'm gonna find the letter when Peter says that he's writing a letter. I'm gonna find a verse where he says he's writing it from Babylon. 1 Peter chapter 5, not the last verse, but next to the last verse. My bad. He says the church that is in Babylon, elect together with you, saluteth you, and so does Marcus, my son. So it says, thee at Babylon, elect together with you, elect together with saluteth you. So he gives his he closes his letter, like that. Like everybody in Babylon says, what's up? So Peter was writing that letter from Babylon. And this would always kind of baffle me, like, why don't we have nothing going on with letters, communication, correspondence with the ancient Israelites that were in Africa? Because they wasn't in there yet. They're thoroughly embedded into any type of social setting by the 1st century AD. It just wasn't happening. But when we did go over there, the Hamites took us away and started to sell us as slaves to the Europeans and to the other Hamites. Okay. But this is our homeland. This is where our fathers came from. And I keep emphasizing that and saying that over and over. Africa is not your homeland. You came from Africa as a slave. Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Israel, northeastern Egypt. That's the homeland of the so-called black man, the so-called Afro, whoever, wherever, that came there in slavery, in captivity. That's where you come from. And then we didn't come from, we went into Africa as slaves. I mean, as refugees. We went into Africa, we were refugees. We were running, getting conquered, running from war. And then the Europeans came from England, France, Spain, and Portugal. Portugal, Spain, France, And then later on, you know, the Dutch and the Germans, they got involved in it. Netherlands, they put their little 2 cents into it. You know, Denmark. All right, they put their little punch into the bowl. All right, Netherlands, all of that. They put their little stuff into the mix. They got together and they started taking slaves from East Africa, well, from West Africa into Brazil. All right, the Guyanas right here, into Venezuela, Mexico, the United States. And then the Arabs and the Africans, some of the Portuguese too, they started taking slaves from here, all right, over into Iraq, Iran, over into Pakistan, into India, before it was a Pakistan or India, all right, and into Sri Lanka. So we went into these different places as slaves, and we went into Africa running from conquest. But the scriptures had already told us that we were going to be taken and put into slavery because we broke the commandments that were given to us. We broke the laws. Now, like I said, I'm going to end on this. So come back to the laws and the commandments of the Most High. You are Israelites. You are not Afro-Turks. You are not Afro-Indians. You are not African Americans. You are not Mexicans. You are not Jamaicans. You are Yasharallah from a particular tribe, or you just know who you are because you got there the way that the scriptures and prophecies said that the Israelites were going to arrive. So you are Israelites. Come back to Yahushua, which is the dark brown-skinned man. That's the Messiah. Come back to the laws of the Torah, which are found in the first 5 books of the Bible. And you'll be all right. Now, I want to end with this. Okay. I want to end with a Georgian visa. All right. Now check this out, man. This is gonna blow your mind right here. Look at this. Check this out. All right. Look at this. Read this right here. I'm gonna read it for you. This says, a citizen of a foreign country who seeks to enter Georgia generally must first obtain a Georgian visa, which is placed in the traveler's passport, a visa blank, or is issued electronically. Certain international travelers may be eligible to visit Georgia without a visa if they meet the requirements of visa-free travel. The visa policy of Georgia became comparatively liberal, allowing citizens of 98 countries to enter. You can come into the country, to reside. You can live in the country, to work. You can get a job and set up a business in the country and study. You can go to school in the country, in Georgia, which is the state of Georgia, the country of Georgia on the Black Sea, which is where you got a lot of Israelites over there. Now, I know it's the Caucasus region, but it's west of the Caucasus. And you have so many Israelites that got taken there as slaves, and they still live there today. You can enter, reside, work, study without the necessity to obtain either visa or residence permit. Now, in addition, Georgian government approved the list of 50 countries whose visa and or residence permit holders may enter Georgia without a visa or for an appropriate period under appropriate conditions. So let's see. Okay, you from Argentina, bam, you can go there. You from Antigua, bam, you can go there. You from Brazil, bam, you can go there. Oh, you from Honduras, bam, you can go there. All right. Jamaica, you out of luck, you gotta get a visa. All right. British Virgin Islands, you can go there. Canada, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, French Guiana, Belize, Barbados, Bahamas, Armenia, well, not Armenia. All right, that ain't got nothing to do with us. All right, now let's check. India, now you got to get a visa. But they do say now, United States of America, yeah. You don't need no visa, no permission. All right, no visa, no permission, and no permit. You just show up and you can do what you need to do. Now, they say other conditions. I'm looking for these other little 50 countries that they said that they had certain conditions you could, come in there. They say international travelers who are holders of valid visas and or residence permits of the government of Georgia may enter and stay in Georgia for 90 days in any 180-day period. So some other places, you can come there. You can stay. Oh, check this out. Well, this says passports, government official passports. All right. You can enter and stay in Georgia without a visa. Okay. But this is holders of diplomatic passports, so you got to go through a special process if you aren't in these countries right here. But the thing about it is that these places are so close to the other countries in Asia. All right. It's so close to them. Costa Rica, Ecuador is on the other side of the ocean. But where our people are, Pakistan, okay, Turkey, Kuwait. Kuwait can come there. So you got Israelites that in Kuwait that can come there. All right. Turkey can get over there. You got a lot of Israelites that are in Turkey. All right. Montenegro. You got some Israelites that are in Montenegro too. People don't know that. Tajikistan, I don't know if we got people over there. That's the point that I'm making. Is that okay? Let's go down to the well, there's a lot of other states on here too. There's just a few of them. All right, that's just a few of them. But there's a lot more states on here. There's a lot more countries on here. But a few of them right now are, like I said, Antigua, Argentina, all right, Bahamas, Barbados, Belize, Brazil, all the Virgin Island territories over there, all the islands in the Caribbean that's owned by the British, all right, Canada, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, all right, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, all the Caribbean islands that's in there owned by the French, Honduras, all right. We got brothers in Kuwait also, Mexico. You can go there and set up a business. Now, I know somebody might say, man, that'd be expensive. Nah, right now, you can get to Turkey for $275. And once you get over in that part of the world, it's cheaper to travel. I'm just showing you, and this was the point that we were making. All right, let me go back to the original point. Let me go back to the point. The point that was being made was that we've been focused on the Western Hemisphere, not realizing that the Eastern Hemisphere is an advantage for us, depending on where we've been living at in the Eastern Hemisphere. It's an advantage for us to go and seize opportunities to, number one, build with our brothers and sisters that are not that are in this part of the world, that are over here, all right, to build with them over here. And also to do what? To go over into this part of the world and to have some type of a relationship and to be able to have resources to build once again, to use to spread this understanding, this truth, this righteousness this history of our people they need in order to get about this captivity. All right, so that's almost 3 hours. You know, may Yahweh be with you in the name of and by the power of Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. So I'm going to end it right there. Shalom Lakam.